It was the first snowfall of the year, and Charlie couldn't wait to get outside. The ground was already covered in a thick layer of white, and soft flakes continued to drift down from the sky. From his bedroom window, he could see the neighborhood children building snow forts and snowmen, their laughter filling the crisp winter air. "Charlie, bundle up if you're going outside," his mom called from the kitchen. "I will, Mom," Charlie shouted back, already pulling on his boots and wrapping his favorite scarf around his neck. He loved winter, and more than anything, he loved building snowmen. There was something magical about them, like they could come to life at any moment. He hurried outside, feeling the cold air sting his cheeks. The world looked like a snow globe, silent and peaceful, with everything covered in a blanket of white. Charlie grabbed a handful of snow and started rolling it into a large ball, the base of what would soon become his snowman. After a few minutes of hard work, the bottom of the snowman was ready. Charlie worked quickly, building the middle section and the head, carefully stacking them on top of each other. When the snowman was tall and sturdy, he added 2 buttons for eyes, a carrot for a nose, and a few sticks for arms. Finally, he took off his hat and placed it on the snowman's head. "Perfect," Charlie said, stepping back to admire his work. Just then, his friend Lucy came running up to him. "Wow, Charlie, your snowman looks great," she said, her breath turning into little clouds in the cold air. "Thanks. I think he's my best one yet," Charlie replied, proud of his creation. Lucy smiled. "Want to help me build one?" "Sure," Charlie said, following her to a fresh patch of snow. They spent the next hour building another snowman, laughing and playing in the snow. By the time they were finished, the sun was beginning to set, and the sky turned a soft shade of pink and orange. "We should head home," Lucy said, brushing the snow off her coat. "It's getting late." "Yeah, I guess we should," Charlie agreed, though he was reluctant to leave. He always felt a little sad saying goodbye to his snowmen, even though he knew they'd be waiting for him the next day. As they walked back toward their houses, Charlie glanced over his shoulder at his snowman. Something strange caught his eye. For a moment, it looked like the snowman's head had turned slightly, as if it was watching him. Charlie blinked and rubbed his eyes. "Did you see that?" he asked Lucy. "See what?" Lucy asked, turning around. Charlie stared at the snowman, but now it looked exactly the same as before, still and silent. Nothing. I must be imagining things," Charlie said with a nervous laugh. Lucy shrugged. "Come on, let's go inside before we freeze." That night, Charlie couldn't stop thinking about his snowman. He lay in bed, staring up at the ceiling, wondering if he had really seen it move. It seemed impossible, but there was something about the snowman that felt different. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows, and the moonlight cast long shadows across Charlie's room. He turned over, pulling the blankets up to his chin, but sleep wouldn't come. Finally, after what felt like hours, Charlie sat up in bed. "I have to see him," he whispered to himself. Quietly, he slipped out of bed, put on his coat and boots, and tiptoed downstairs. The house was dark and silent, and he didn't want to wake his parents. He opened the front door just enough to slip outside, the cold air hitting him like a blast. The snow in his yard sparkled under the moonlight, and there, standing tall and proud, was a snowman. But this time, Charlie wasn't imagining things. The snowman was different. Its head had definitely turned, and its button eyes seemed to be staring right at him. Charlie's heart raced as he stepped closer. "Hello," he whispered, feeling a little silly for talking to a snowman. To his surprise, the snowman moved. Charlie froze in place, his breath catching in his throat. The snowman's arms creaked as they slowly raised, and its head tilted to the side, as if it were studying him. What's going on?" Charlie stammered, his eyes wide with shock. The snowman didn't answer. Instead, it reached up and tipped its hat slightly, like a gentleman greeting someone. Then, to Charlie's amazement, the snowman spoke. "Good evening, young man," it said in a deep, rumbling voice. "It's nice to meet you." Charlie could hardly believe his ears. "Why, you can talk." "Of course I can," the snowman replied, his button eyes twinkling. "But only on nights like this, when the moon is full and the air is just right. Charlie's mind raced with questions, but the first one that came out was, how is this possible? The snowman chuckled. There's a lot of magic in the world, more than most people realize. Snowmen like me are brought to life by that magic, but only for a short time. We watch, we listen, and we learn about the world. Charlie took a step closer, his fear melting away as his curiosity took over. What do you do when you come to life? The snowman looked up at the stars. We explore, we play, and we enjoy the night. But we always return to our places before the sun rises, so no one will know we were ever alive. Charlie's eyes lit up. Can I come with you? The snowman smiled. I'd be honored to have you join me, but you must be quick. The night is short, and the magic won't last forever. Without hesitation, Charlie ran back inside to grab his scarf and gloves. When he returned, the snowman was waiting for him, his stick arm extended. Shall we? The snowman asked. Charlie nodded, his heart pounding with excitement. He took the snowman's hand, and together they set off into the night. The world looked different under the moonlight. The snow-covered trees sparkled like they were made of diamonds, and the stars seemed brighter than ever. As they walked through the quiet streets, Charlie couldn't help but feel like he was in a dream. Where are we going? Charlie asked, his breath visible in the cold air. I thought we'd visit a few friends, the snowman replied with a wink. They walked to a nearby park, where several other snowmen stood, silent and still. But as soon as Charlie and his snowman approached, the other snowmen began to move. They stretched their arms, shook the snow off their shoulders, and greeted each other with friendly nods. Hello, everyone, Charlie's snowman called out. I've brought a guest tonight. The other snowmen turned to look at Charlie, their button eyes twinkling with curiosity. A human boy? One of the snowmen asked. How delightful. Charlie smiled nervously. Hi, he said, waving awkwardly. The snowmen laughed, their deep voices echoing through the night. Don't be shy, young one, another snowman said. We're all friends here. Charlie relaxed a little, and soon he found himself playing with the snowmen, throwing snowballs and sliding down hills. It was the most fun he had ever had, and he didn't want it to end. But as the night wore on, the snowmen grew quieter, and the magic in the air began to fade. It's almost time, Charlie's snowman said softly. Time for what? Charlie asked, his heart sinking. Time for us to return to our places, the snowman replied. The magic only lasts until sunrise. Charlie looked up at the sky, noticing the faint glow of dawn on the horizon. He didn't want the night to end, but he knew the snowman was right. Will I ever see you again? Charlie asked, his voice full of sadness. The snowman smiled gently. Perhaps, if the conditions are right. But remember, even if we don't speak again, I'll always be here, watching over you. Charlie nodded, feeling a lump in his throat. He followed the snowman back to his yard, where the snowman returned to his spot, standing tall and proud. Goodbye, Charlie, the snowman said, tipping his hat once more. Goodbye, Charlie whispered. As the first rays of sunlight touched the snowman became still again, just an ordinary snowman. But Charlie knew the truth. He had shared a magical night with his snowman, a night he would never forget.